Now, I'm Antonieta Collins. The Spurs, who a week and a half ago were clinging to their playoff hopes, are now back in the hunt. And Manu ginobili says he's done talking about the constant speculation about Kawhi Leonard's status and health. It's been a constant topic for the Spurs as Leonard has played in only 9 games this season as he continues to nurse a lingering quad injury. In a playoff race that is packed, Ginobili understands it's time to focus and be done with distractions.
For me, he's not coming back because he's not helping. We fell for it a week ago again. I guess you guys made us fall for it. But as I said maybe a month ago, I don't know when it was, we got to think that he's not coming back, that we are who we are, and that we got to fight without him. So, yeah, that shouldn't be changing, at least till he's ready for the jumbo.
The Spurs have won 5 straight and now sit 6th in the Western Conference. New Orleans owns the tiebreaker against San Antonio, putting the Pelicans ahead by 1 spot. But only 4 games separate positions 4 through 10 in the West. For more on Kawhi, here's First Take.
Manu, oh, Manu, he's not optimistic, Manu Ginobili, about Kawhi Leonard's return this year. Welcome to the second hour of First Take. Will Kane in for Molly Karam today. Guys, Stephen A, will start with you. After you heard that just now from Manu Ginobili, what do you think the Spurs should do with Kawhi?
Well, you wait until the season is over and then evaluate everything this summer. Because obviously, you know what, listen, you're in a position where you can re-up him, the max $217 million deal or what have you. You might be a bit reticent about that until you make sure everything is ironed out, not just in terms of his health, but in terms of his willingness and interest in remaining in San Antonio. Those are the kind of things that you have to take into consideration. But you certainly should have rushed to judgment in regards to anything like that. If he were healthy, would any of this be an issue? The likelihood is that the answer is no. And so when I look at it from that perspective, along with the fact that he's under contract for you through next season, there's no rush. There's no level of urgency involving anything. The only way I would consider trading him is if he said to me he wanted out. If he doesn't want out, I'm not letting him go if I'm the San Antonio Spurs, because he's a superstar in this league, arguably one of the top 3 or 4 players in the world. And he's in the market that is San Antonio. You don't get players like that every year. You're lucky you had David Robinson. You were even more luckier that you got Tim Duncan. And now you landed Kawhi Leonard because the Indiana Pacers were stupid enough to trade the rights to him to you years ago. You hold on to him for dear life unless he tells you emphatically he wants out. That's the only consideration under which you should think about moving him. Other than that, not at all.
Ready for this? The Spurs should trade Kawhi Leonard and they should tank the rest of the season. How do you like that? They should look for a lottery pick. With their luck, they'll wind up with DeAndre Ayton, the way they wound up with Tim Duncan. That's the way the Spurs' luck works. Look, the problem is this right now. And by the way, if Kawhi came back, then all bets are off. If he was already back and playing, and if he's going to come back and get his legs under him, and they're going to face Houston in the first round, I'm here to tell you that a fully healthy Kawhi, if he gets his basketball legs under him, I don't know if there's enough time, but if he does, on a Popovich-coached team, the way LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing, the way Popovich has been coaching these guys, except for Aldridge, no one's averaging 30 minutes a game. It's been amazing, maybe the best coaching job of his career. They could knock out, I mean, like, if you're Houston, you want to see that? But if he doesn't come back, then here's what you're left with, guys. Look, the talk around the league, Stephen A., and you've intimated it on this show, is that it's not about health. It's about his relationship with the Spurs. If that's the case, you got to move him. Because if his uncle or whomever is in charge and is at that kind of loggerheads with the organization, that Popovich basically sends messages to Kawhi through the media, hey, if he's not back by this date, he's not going to play this year. We have to think about whether to play him this year. He did that like a month ago. If it's at that point, how do you repair that relationship? You got to move. To me, that means Kawhi or his uncle, someone, wants out. So instead of waiting until you're not going to get anything or get much less, get what you can now, which is a whole lot. It could be a king's ransom. And if he's not healthy, if this is really true, he's just physically not ready to come back, what the hell is going on? That's a mysterious injury. How do you know he'll ever be physically the same? But I don't believe that's the case. Next. I believe that this relationship is damaged, and I think the Spurs can get a king's ransom for him now. And if I were them, That's what I would do in this offseason. I would move Kawhi Leonard and look forward to the next era without him.
Max, that sounds incredibly rash and pessimistic. The Spurs still have another year to, as you said, repair this relationship. If that's the problem, the relationship's the problem. They've got another year, and then they get to money whip him better than any other team in the league can do. They have all the leverage in trying to win this relationship over. And the history of superstar trades, I mean, it's littered with wrecks along the way. Shaq, whoever it may be, you get quarters, you get change on the dollar for, as you point out, one of the best players in the league. But what do you say? You can't do that?
You can't do that. You're going to have to target. You're going to have to target another star player that you get back.
It just
or
so
draft
rarely
picks
happens.
that could result in a star player. The problem is this, guys. You're right, Will. They have another year of him. Another year of him. So every day that ticks by after, I'm not talking about doing anything now, obviously trade them. I'm talking about in the offseason. Every day that ticks off, his value goes down, particularly if it's believed around the league that he's out of there. Right now, in this upcoming offseason, you'll have time to actually make a deal where you're maximizing what you get back. If I thought that relationship was in a place where, like, all the signals being sent is they want out. Otherwise, why wouldn't he be back? Unless he's truly hurt in a mysterious way where it'd be difficult to anticipate what he'd be like when he got back. Because he's supposed to be back from this injury already. Kawhi Leonard, I think, when healthy, is the second best player in basketball to LeBron James. But he hasn't been that for the Spurs this year. And I'm beginning to seriously doubt whether he'll be that for the Spurs again.
Well, hold on. First of all, I'm not doubting anything about Kawhi Leonard. When he gets healthy, I think that he'll be back to his old self. The only question is whether or not he'll be healthy, and we're not doctors. If he gets healthy, I have every confidence that he'll return to form. But let's take this into consideration, and let's think about this for a second. The Cleveland Cavaliers had Kyrie Irving under contract for 2 more years. Some would argue they were stupid to move him. Regardless of what he wanted, they should not have capitulated. They should have held on to Kyrie Irving because what was he going to do, not play basketball? They didn't have to move him. They ultimately elected to move him, and they damn sure didn't have to move him within the conference to the Boston Celtics. But Dan Gilbert was willing to do that anyway, and it may come back to bite them. We don't know, but it might. You take Kawhi Leonard into consideration. You're in San Antonio. The only reason why we talk about prospective marquee free agents and their willingness to go to San Antonio, despite the greatness of Greg Popovich, is the fact that you got a star like Kawhi Leonard there. Nobody's relying on LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge is a damn good player until the playoffs show up, and then he shows up for 1 game and disappears for the next 2 or 3. That's been his reputation since he's been in San Antonio. Until he proves otherwise, we can't get caught up in that. So if anybody is going to be, hold on, if anybody's going to be interested and coming to San Antonio, it's going to be because of Kawhi Leonard. So if you know that as the San Antonio Spurs, which they most certainly do, that's more of an incentive to hold on to him.
Question for you. I have a question for you as a basketball insider. Based on everything you've been hearing and everything you can surmise about the situation, do you suspect that Kawhi's uncle or whoever the brain trust is wants to stay in San Antonio or wants to leave?
The uncle is saying they have no issues whatsoever with the San Antonio Spurs, and that Kawhi Leonard would not mind staying. His actions or some of the stuff that's been circulating about his actions give an entirely different indication. I am of the mindset you've got a year with him. You hold on to him at least until the trading deadline next February.
Got to stop it there. Still to come, is James Harden the best offensive player in the league today, or is it LeBron? You don't want to miss our debate on that. And up next, the Atlanta Hawks are facing a discrimination lawsuit by a former employee, and there's quite a twist to it. We'll react to that on First Take. Don't touch that dial.
What I tried to tell y'all, Scott told Z. And that's what I said, damn it, that's what I said. Jim Bob Cooter.
Literally,
You've got to be kidding me. I didn't want to hear it. What